Everybody along this morning, 22 after 11 o'clock, 28 degrees here downtown. I've got to be honest with you, it's a little hotter than I expected. Tuesday, April the 5th, and you're right here at Galaxy. Let me do this. Galaxy. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and I've got to welcome along everybody that's joining us live this morning on Facebook. So happy to have you guys with us. If you're going to watch it a little later on over there on YouTube, you know what to do, right? No, you do. Yeah, really. Check this out. Sub, thumb, bell. Bingo. And why bell? Notifications when all the important artists come to Galaxy, like the artists we have today. Believe me, you're going to love this. Michael Roberts is joining us, coming out of New York. It is time for some fun. It really, really is. But in the meantime, got to say how happy we are here at Galaxy to be in association with Rise Up TV, Big Record, and of course, Sony Music The Orchard, right here at Galaxy. Let's do this.
Another indie artist interview brought to you by Galaxy 107 FM in association with Rise Up TV, Big Record and Sony Music The Orchard.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Sean Simpson's joining us this morning, and nice to have you back, sweetheart. It is an absolute pleasure. You're going to love this, you really are, because Michael Roberts is joining us. Check this out. Here's Fading Fast. So that gives us a couple of minutes, Mike.
Yeah, sounds good.
Very cool. How many on what country? How many countries? Can you have a quick squiz in the... 538. Okay, very cool. 538 countries this morning are joining us so far.
Wow, that's huge.
That's not bad, eh? It's not bad.
Wow, congrats to you guys. That is amazing.
I'll wait until I tell you how many were online with the video, with the radio, literally from around the world after we do this, because no use telling you now, it just goes exponential, it gets crazy.
Right.
You know, which is fun. I just wouldn't want to buy them all a beer, Mike. Yeah, I just don't want to buy them all a beer, believe me.
Oh, no kidding.
I'd be broke. Literally. We've got about a minute and a half to go before we go live to the desk. Mike, I'm going to ask you some fan questions through this that I get fed through to me. I'm also going to ask you some weird and wonderful stuff, believe me. Just put up with me. I'm a Kiwi. Okay. We have a weird sense of humour down here. Can you understand my accent, by the way?
I do, and I love it. I love
Nice.
the accent very much.
Nice, because some people struggle with it.
Ah.
Yeah. Well, I'm
It's funny, I went to London a few years back, and I almost needed some subtitles on their accent. It was tough. I mean, they talk fast, and it's interesting.
Yeah, and especially when they're drunk, right?
Yeah.
You totally can't understand them then, believe me. I used to live in London in Piccadilly Circus for a while.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was a challenge. Oh dear, that stopped rather suddenly. Well, whatever. Thank you.
107
They're good. It's on the hop, I got to be honest with you. Today, believe me, it's an absolute pleasure to bring you a brilliant artist coming out of New York. And believe me, a little disorientated because he says he's close to the Canadian border. So I kind of, get my head around New York all the way out that way. And I did say to him, don't play them in, ice hockey or anything like that, believe me. It is an absolute pleasure to have Michael Roberts on board. Nice to have you here, Mike. And
thanks so much, Grant. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure, my friend, to have you. I just want to make sure. Can you say something again just quickly?
Sure. Something again just quickly. Does that come through there?
Starting to get there. Unfortunately,
Check two. I've done that before. Check one.
Yeah,
check two.
Thank you. Yeah, believe me, something's going on with the desk today. I think we got a ghost in the machine. Having said that, Mike, and I am going to let you know that right now we have Tim Steinrock on board, and also Donnie Coulter's there as well. And,
Excellent.
And Charisse D'Souza, my darling, my baby girl, coming out of Mumbai, India, or maybe an airport, an undisclosed airport somewhere in India. You never know. She's, one of these jet setters that just goes everywhere. Every time I talk to this lady, she's at an airport.
She's somewhere else, yeah.
We have.
Not like me. I go somewhere every 5 years, I mean.
Believe me, I used to be somewhere all the time back in the day, but these days I'm very lucky to get, from one office to another. I'm not getting to be a bit of a bit of a mission. Now, Mike, and believe me, I got to let you know it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you, sir, because we are absolutely loving your music here. In fact, we started playing your music and didn't say anything to anybody, and people wanted to know more about the music that we were playing. And believe me, I was playing stuff like 200 Days. It blew up our internet. They wanted to know who, what, when, where, how, and when are we doing the interview. So today we're doing that.
Thanks again for having me.
Started off the show with Fading Fast, my friend. Now, tell me about this, because I find this an absolute fascinating song.
It was one of those songs I knew I needed to probably write a good 15 to 20 songs for the album, because I knew not every song was going to make the cut. I started off writing Fool for Your Love, which is on the album, and I had this song as one of the first three I wrote, and it was just a simple 4-chord happy little song, and I never thought it would even make the cut until we got the keyboardist's arrangement put in, and I'm like, oh my God, this is kind of good, and so it was, it really grabbed everybody's attention. I said, Mike, we got to not just put it in, it's got to be the first song. It's just like writing a song. When you're putting the number of songs you're putting the order of songs in an album, you got to get the one that grabs the most attention first, That was my thought process anyway. So it turned out to be not a throwaway song, but just something that really made you want to move and feel happy, even though it was about potentially breaking up. It's funny how those things work.
Now, where did you get this recorded? Because believe me, as I said to you, I'm an engineer myself. Mm-hmm. I absolutely love the work that's being done on this.
Oh, thanks.
Where did you get this recorded? Is it in
the album was recorded at Studio 37 in a city called Ogdensburg, New York, which is just across it's about probably an hour from Ottawa, Ontario, on the U.S. side. But we're right on the water. I mean, we can see Canada. It's cold. It's got beer. And hockey. Don't forget the hockey and Tim Hortons. But so it's almost a homegrown project. He's been working in the studio for about 20 years, so he knows his stuff. He knows his engineering. And he really, we spent 3 years on the project, believe it or not. But part of that was due to COVID, and we kind of shut down toward the end of the project. We had a shutdown for almost a year and a half, and like half the world shut down. So that's why it took twice as long to produce the thing.
Believe me, and I know what you're going through with COVID. I speak to so many artists from around the world for the last 2.5 years. Same song being sung. To be very honest with you, we're not gigging. Yes. We're writing more. We're recording more. just not doing a lot of live shows, anything like that. But
Right.
I can see a light at the end of the tunnel. I think we're coming into a transition now where we can actually start getting some sort of normality back. And by goodness, I have missed live shows, doing live
Yes,
stuff.
for sure.
Really have.
You know, as an artist and performer, I've missed performing for people too, just as much. You know.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, with this COVID thing, the poor audiences around the world have only had DJ Grant rather than any other live stuff. So we're looking forward to getting back into that. Now,
Sure.
having said that, my friend, I have a fan question for you.
Yep.
As a fan, how do we get hold of you? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Instagram? Are you a talker? But more importantly, Michael, do you respond?
I 100% respond to everything. I would say start with my webpage, which is michaelrobertmusic.net. michaelrobertmusic.net. And from there, I mean, there's contact information. There's a link to my Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Don't get me going on Instagram. I don't get it. I really don't. I mean, I don't do a lot of Instagram. I don't do a lot of Twitter, but they're all those are there, and feel free to contact me through that. I believe I even have my phone number in there, for contact purposes. So,
Well, I tell you what.
I can give you a Spotify link, or I think Spotify link's on there, but you should be listening to Galaxy anyway, and not Spotify, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But I tell you what, I'm a hashtag question mark kind of guy myself, to be very honest with you. I don't answer anything. And I tell you what, now you're going to get about 5,000 Facebook fans that are going to be joining. You're never going to get anything done if you keep on replying. But more importantly, to be very honest with you, I am literally so busy. I actually have a Barbara for that. You know what I mean? And she looks after me so splendidly. I recommend a Barbara for everybody. I really do.
You're really a lucky guy, Garrett. Right.
Believe me, I would be absolutely lost without Barbara planning my day and doing everything for me, literally. Otherwise, I'd fall down, But then I wouldn't want to fall down on me. Well, maybe I'd want somebody to fall down on me. Fall down on me. Tell me about this.
This song started with the guitar hook and the guitar harmonies, and I just got this. The song's in B minor, and just got this bam in there, and so I'm like, I come up with the harmony part to it, and the chord structure, and I love guitar harmonies, and it all started with that, and the words just kind of fell into place. It's more about the music almost than the lyrics on this one. That's why you're going to hear some extended guitar harmonies and an extended solo, which is the opposite of what pop radio should be, but because that breaks all those rules, right? But I really enjoy the guitar harmonies, and what we did is I brought a friend of mine, a guitar player from Canada, in to help me do some third and fourth harmonies. So in parts of the song, we actually have four guitars in harmony doing that little riff, which is pretty cool. And my producer Rick at Studio 37, he kind of built he built the harmony of one with the melody, then second harmony, third harmony, fourth harmony, and that just, it takes time to play through it. But I kind of like the product. It's one of those deeper cuts that probably won't get played a lot, but that's okay.
Well, I can let you know, Mike. I have you playing in my car. It does get played a lot. It really, really does, especially
cool.
Here at Galaxy 107 FM. Here's Michael Roberts and Fall Down on Me, right here at Galaxy. It's hot here.
Yeah.
Hey, how you feeling, bro? You okay?
Yeah, doing okay.
Nice. You don't need
I'm going to ask my wife if there's a beer in the fridge.
Yeah, I was going to say, you don't need an alcoholic beverage, do you?
Need something.
Yeah.
With water. Let me grab a drink real quick. That's a
You
long
go
song.
right ahead.
Be right back.
And I tell you what, if he needs a psychiatrist or anything like that after this, I've got one in his
Randy
region.
O'Neill from New York.
Yep, absolutely. I was going to suggest
Hey
that.
Pamela, how are you, darling?
Gosh, it's hot in here.
It's going to get a drink.
Well, I've got an unbeer.
An unbeer.
An unbeer.
Oh, good God. You're swearing at me now.
Water.
I was going to
It's a
say,
sad day. We're out of beer.
well, I tell you what, if you survive this properly, you might need a psychiatrist at the end of it. I have one in your region, I really do. I know a couple in your area, actually.
Yeah.
You never know. We've got about two minutes, 2.5 minutes to go.
Hello,
Mike,
Tom. Hello, Dom.
can I ask you a personal
Hello,
question?
everyone, and Pamela.
Of course.
And Sean.
And I ask everybody this, I really do.
Yep.
You're not a vegan, are you?
Well, here we go.
No.
You're a meatologist like me?
Of course.
Sweet. The reason, and I ask everybody this, literally is, have you ever tried a vegan sausage?
I think I have. I recall trying something that was all plant-based.
Okay, was it made of real vegans?
I think so. I think they were plant-based vegans.
Well, you see, I was disappointed when I found out that Girl Guide biscuits weren't made of real Girl Guide. So I've been trying to figure this one out. Strangely enough, I actually ran across a lady, and I says to her, "Are you a vegan?" And she goes, "Yes, I am." And I went, "Sweet. Do you guys hang out together, you vegans?" And she goes, "Why do you say that?" I says, "The only place to see you is on the news." It's true. Barney is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Barney. Also, the Dom Pierce group is joining us from, of course, Rise Up TV and Big Record and Sony Music, which are so nice to have you. Pamela is there as well, believe me. The crew from Rise Up are on board. Nice to have you on board.
Tim, don't forget Tim.
And Tim, yes, I'd said Tim from the Dom Pierce group. Believe
And
me, I
Robert.
got that in there. And Barney, of course, coming out of Papua New Guinea, she is the manager of a very, very talented man called Anselm. Believe me, we're going to be bringing Anselm to New Zealand to do a show very shortly.
Hi, Chris
Watch
Andreas.
this space. Chris Andreas is joining us, coming out of Canada. Hello, brother man. Nice to have you on board.
When Jeanette's trying to hang out with us.
Galaxy.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and today coming out of New York, well, close to the Canadian border in New York anyway, as of course Michael Roberts, and believe me, just loving his music right now, I got to be honest with you. But Mike, I want to talk about last weekend, because apparently you've just arrived back from Nashville.
I just got back from Nashville. It was the 30th anniversary of Tin Pan South, and that is it's an event where all of the writers in Nashville, and there's hundreds of writers, hundreds of musicians in Nashville. It's enormous, but they all get together and they showcase their songs that they've written for big time artists. They showcase songs that they've written that haven't been picked up yet. So you know, I was able to, in a very intimate setting across the whole city, listen to music that some people haven't even heard yet. And, you know, some of the highlights, a couple of guys from Zach Brown's band were there playing some of the music that they've written for Zach. I got to hang out with them. I met the woman, Liz Rose, who wrote the song Girl Crush with a couple of her friends. You know, so these are big time writers, and I learned a lot about you know what goes into a hit song, and that's kind of what I'm searching. You know, I'm searching to be able to write in that style, in especially for someone else. That's what a great event. It had been 2 years since they could do it in person, so getting back, I mean, the whole town was abuzz, and very very challenging to drive through downtown and see all the bars on Music Row. It's just amazing.
And, well, I got to let you know, believe me, it is an absolute pleasure to be able to do exactly stuff like that, get together with like-minded people and learn from so many talented minds out there and being able to create stuff. Believe me, I can't create anything. I'm pretty useless with Play-Doh and all sorts of stuff. I'm just useless. Alice Walker is joining us. Alice, I think you're doing a little homework right now because I am looking forward to meeting you in the very, very near future. Believe me, a lot of people are loving your work here at Galaxy as well. So looking forward to that. George, George, nice to have you back, brother, man. It really, really is. And believe me, loving your work as well. Believe me, it is an absolute pleasure. And I love your stinger as well that we put with your music. Having said that, my friend, I do have a young lady. Her name is Penelope, and she's coming out of Charlotte, North Carolina. She's asking, just recently, with this COVID thing, and we gather that a lot of artists aren't doing a lot of touring and aren't doing a lot of shows right now.
Yeah.
Are you planning on getting back on the road anytime soon? Are you looking at doing a national tour?
Not looking at a national tour. I mean, I think the scope of that would take a little bit more than what I have together. I have a band that I play with locally around New York State, and that keeps me kind of busy. I do a lot of solo shows, duo shows with my son and stuff like that. But as far as touring to support this album, I don't think there's enough upbeat music to do a whole show. I'm hoping within the next year or two I could do that. When I put a couple more projects out, I could have enough to do a full show. But I am looking into the grassroots shows. You go in there and you do 45 to 90 minutes, and that would be fine. But doing an entire night of original music, I'm not quite there yet.
I get that, I do.
Yeah.
But having said that, that kind of takes the wind out of what I was going to ask him next, literally. Because literally, if you were looking at doing a national tour, maybe, just maybe, you might consider coming to New Zealand and doing something here in New Zealand. Would you consider that?
I'd love to come to New Zealand. In fact, before I met you folks, I met a gentleman. I was telling your wife, I met a gentleman and a musician from New Zealand, and he's just a great guy, very friendly, and he was telling me about music in New Zealand and stuff like that, and I've always been interested in visiting. I mean, you guys are like right next door to Down Under, right? I mean, you're very close.
We are so down under. It's down under, literally.
You're down under. You're under Down Under, right?
We are, literally. We're past Australia. We're not even part of them anymore. Well, actually, that's debatable, actually, because we found out not so long ago that the New Zealand continental shelf actually claims Tasmania, which is the little island at the bottom of Australia, right? That's ours. And, well, I got to be honest with you, Mike. I rang up the Prime Minister over there, Mr. Morrison, got through to his office, and I says, I'm a representative of New Zealand. I'm an ambassador as well. I would like to discuss about the reimbursement of taxes for Tasmania since the day you've been taxing them. Shouldn't they come back to us here in New Zealand? He hung up on me.
He hung up on you?
Well, he said some sort of a New Zealand slur expletive before he did, but
Well, you
Well, it's
can
November
just go back
Fools.
over and kind of take it back.
Well,
Guess that might.
I
I saw
tried
somebody else
that.
doing that with their country. Didn't turn out well.
I tried that with the Navy on April the 1st. I actually rang up the Navy on April the 1st and asked, well, let's entertain the idea of towing it home.
Tow it home.
They laughed at me. I was serious. Why?
How hard could it be, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Alice, of course, being with the Southern Outlaws band, so looking forward to meeting up with Alice. And yeah, I'm loving your music. I really, really am. Now, having said that, can't love you anymore. Why can't you? What did I do wrong? Come on.
Well, I like to write. I like to write. Some sad and depressing stuff. I just I don't know how to write real happy stuff. I'm working on it. I really am, because that's what the world needs. But the sadder stuff kind of came to me with this album, and I the way I write, I may sit down and play guitar a little bit, and the song starts coming to me, and I really kind of dug that one. It's a tough song, heartbreak wise, and but I kind of dig the song, and I'm glad you guys like it too. Yeah, I mean, I'm not an enormous country fan, but a lot of the stuff I write comes out country, and I decided to embrace it. And
well, I tell you what, so far 1,701 requests since we've been playing it. You're right here at Galaxy. Here's Michael Robert. I can't love you anymore.
Well, Grant, that's amazing.
Oh, believe me, we have you in our specialised shows, and when I come in, and I usually get to work between 11:30 at night and midnight, and I go through all our emails and everything. I take all that data and I throw it down to production. We construct shows around the stats, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And you're just popping up all the bloody time, I've got to be honest with you.
Well, that's awesome. That's awesome.
People are requesting your music, and it is fantastic to watch the growth of this.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. I mean, it's unbelievable, and I mean, to get when I got over 10,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, I mean, that's the first metric. Before I met you guys, that's the first metric that I had, and I'm like, holy moly!
Oh,
you're like,
wait until you find out the stats at the end of this one.
I can't wait. That's awesome.
Believe me, you will want an alcoholic drink afterwards, because you're a superstar right now. You really are.
Oh my gosh!
How many cities?
I just hope that I can connect with people,
Okay.
Because I'm sure people went through the same thing I go through.
Well, I tell you what, there's 674 cities around the world listening in this morning. So
that's great.
As I said, Michael, you're a superstar.
Well, thanks. Thank you.
Alice says, great song, well written, keep up the amazing work. There you go, bro. And that's coming from another artist, and
wow.
Also an American, also. So looking forward to
He's a sheriff as well.
You see, you let the cat out of the bag. I wasn't going to say that. He's a sheriff as well, you see. So
right.
He's in an outlaw band being a law man. You figure that one out. And he sings about all sorts of breaking law stuff.
It's cool.
I think he's got a secret device. He wants to be a lawbreaker. That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. 24 degrees here downtown, about 75 degrees Fahrenheit if you want to sort of get around that. Literally, it's hot in here. Add another 10 degrees, believe me, with all the computers and everything. Absolutely sweltering. Now, Mike, believe me, coming into summertime, we come into summertime about December, mid-December.
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
I went to my bosses and I says, this summer, can I have a fan, please? And they went, yeah, absolutely. What would you like? And I went, oh, I don't know, something about 18 years, blonde, blue eyes, comes from Sweden. She can do that all day. They got me a gold ear.
Okay.
They do. Literally, yeah. So, and even then when I get them to turn it on, it's like, no.
It's not the same.
No, my idea was better, I'm sure of it.
Yep.
Yep. Then surprisingly, the other day, I actually seen somebody that was, like 6'2" tall, blonde, blue eyes, walking down one of my hallways, and I thought, my goodness, the bosses have listened to me.
Right, they finally got it together.
Yeah, no, she was the courier. Yeah. Good try.
Good try.
George there, thanks for supporting George Prophet Music. Well, George, you are an absolute superstar here at Galaxy. Of course we're going to support you. No worries there. Now, Mike, I did ask you about entertaining the idea of coming to New Zealand.
I'd absolutely love to, yeah.
Do you know much about our country?
I know a bit, but not enough.
Okay, let me...
It
obviously...
sounds really hot.
Well, it's not actually. It really, really isn't. It's just where we are. We're, fortunate enough to be on the east coast of the island. And let me tell you, have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Sadly, I have not.
Okay.
I have not.
Okay, well, may I suggest for a start, go out and go to the computer, just download the first one, and you'll see a guy on a cart with a horse, going into a place called Hobbiton. That is literally, the set is literally about an hour and a half to drive away from our offices right now.
No kidding. Wow.
We would love to take you there, show you around. So go and have a look at that.
Check that out.
Believe me.
It's funny you mentioned that. I've been really sadly feeling like I've missed something by not catching all of the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I will take a look at that. So they filmed that close to you. Yeah, literally they did, and well, not only close to us, but they encapsulated a lot of New Zealand. Keyword here, my friend, is precious. Precious, and believe me, when you see the movie, you'll understand what I'm saying. Having said that, the director. I can't call him sir. I really can't. I went to university with the director back in the day. Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Peter Jackson. I really struggled to call him sir. And simply because, well, he was one that would always go to a party, but he would never bring a beer. You know what I mean?
Like everybody else's beer?
Yeah, absolutely. And now today he's on the rich list. Literally, he's one of the richest men in New Zealand. He knew how to manipulate alcohol and also. I've been drunk with the man. I know what he's like. That's why I can't call him sir. Literally. Louis, nice to have you on board, Louis. It really, really is. But we're made up of 3 islands, Mike. Now, one right down the very bottom of New Zealand, the only island that actually got a name.
Really?
Called Stewart. Good manly name, really. Stewart Island.
Yeah.
Like that. But then whoever named New Zealand ran out of imagination, called the next one South. Yeah, true. I was just getting my producer saying that it was fished up out of the ocean. No, it wasn't. It's just part of the mythology of New Zealand, but it's called South Island, literally.
So South Island's north of Stewart Island, but it's still called South. But it's meaning south of New Zealand.
Well, no, it is part of New Zealand. It's actually a main part of New Zealand. But then you're right, because the next one is called North Island.
That's creative. I mean,
I applaud the person that did that. Muchly, but
I wonder how long they had to think on that, Grant. How long it took to...
I think about the same time it took humanity to come up with the word moon. I want to rename that as well. Believe me, I really do. You know, well, I mean, scientists, they're finding new planets, new moons all the time. They have the audacity to name these. They don't get in the spacecraft and go and knock on the door and say, "Excuse me, can I name your planet?" They just name it, right? And they give them some damn good names. I've got to be honest with you. But our satellite is called Moon.
Moon. Yeah, it's like naming your cat, right?
It is, or dog, or brown dog, something like that. It really is. I want to actually rename it to something like Celestial Body Brian. If for no other reason, believe me, Mike, would look good on a check, right?
Yeah, exactly. Do you ever wonder what aliens call our planet?
Useless.
They must have named our planet, right?
Okay, yeah, they must have.
Something about. There's your thought for the day.
Millicent Black is joining us. Nice to have you on board, Millicent. It really, really is. And I see the courier has arrived again. Was she the blonde girl this time? No. Okay, well, I'm glad you got it then. Believe me. Now, we spoke about how we can get hold of you on Facebook, blah, 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 and you gave me a website. Do you have a merch store on your website, and can we buy product from there?
You can buy the CD from there. Yes, I haven't set up merch yet, but I will certainly do that. My goal is to do that before our summer hit, which would be somewhere in the neighborhood of beginning of June. So I'm gonna get on that and get some merch going, hats, shirts, stuff like that. Yeah, and you'll find it all at michaelrobertmusic.net.
Very cool, because believe me, I know people watch, and I'm going to ask you, when you do get your merch sorted out, how about sending me a couple of T-shirts? Now, there's a reason,
100%.
Reason why I say that, my friend, and believe me, I'm wearing Rosemary's T-shirt today, is people watching this, they actually go on the interwebby thing while they're watching, and they find out who the heck I'm wearing today. Before you know it, they're making purchases, and, the CDs sold.
That's
everything
cool.
Going around the world. It's a subliminal thing, but it works. It really does. And I'm going to ask you very, very shortly if you'll advertise in other avenues that we have available for you as well. All free.
Sure.
We want you to get your name, your product, and your brand out there as much as possible, believe me.
Yeah, for sure.
And we want people to get lost in you. Tell me about Lost in You.
I was in my car one night, and I don't know what I was. I was listening to some music, and I could see the moon, and it got me thinking about being in this. Being in my car was just like a safe place for me, without having to worry about work, the stresses of work or anything. And it was like this my own little bubble. I have my music, I have a little solitude for myself, and I thought about how nice it would be to, be in the arms of my girl, skin on skin. It's a little risque, according to my mom, but just that feeling of being skin to skin with the one you love, and how time just disappears. That's kind of what the song's about.
Well, I tell you what, I can relate to the car deal. I really can. I'm going to tell you about that very shortly. But now, here at Galaxy is, of course, Michael Robert, Lost in You. Before I do these interviews and stuff, they go via Barbara. And Barbara sorts out all the crap, and believe me, I feel sorry for her sometimes because she gets so much of it to come to the cream of the crop, right? Because we have standards here at Galaxy, and then she's got to present that to a board. Now, on the board, any given board meeting could be anything from 8 to 12 people, right? Most of them don't have anything to do with radio and have no clue about radio. They have their own professions, everything like that. So it gives us a fair cross the section experience on their opinions.
Right.
Their only opinion matters is that it's about our image. If it's good for our image, we're going to go with it. You know what I mean? So it has to be top quality. You tick all those boxes right away.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
Then they give it back to Barbara. Barbara takes it to production. Production and Barbara fight and argue and whatever, because we only have so many interviews we can do in a week. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we have to try and fit something somewhere, somehow, sometime, and therefore we take the best of the best again, and we whittle it down. Then it comes to me on a USB device that I Bluetooth to my car stereo, and let me tell you, Mike, I have one kick-ass stereo in my car. I really do.
Nice, I bet you do.
I annoy the neighbours 3 blocks away. I do. But, you see, I have to listen to it, and it doesn't give me a name, it doesn't give me a title of the track, nothing, just plays the music. And you see, I warrant whether I want to do the interviews or not on the merits of the music. Fair enough?
That's good plan.
When I heard your music, and believe me, I do that for 2 reasons. The first reason is that nobody else can influence me on whether I want to do the interview.
Sure.
Fair enough. Second reason is, and I've got to be honest with you, Mike, nobody else wants to drive with me. Barbara has a champion car racer for a son, a New Zealand champion car racer, a champion grandson. They both go sideways in a car. She won't get in the car with me.
Wow.
It's true. And again, come on, guys. Oh my goodness, what's happening with the machine this morning? Oh yeah, it does have a ghost in the machine as well. You're right here at Galaxy. So nice to have everybody joining us this morning, and believe me, it is an absolute pleasure to be talking to Michael Robert coming out of New York. I struggle with it being in New York and then being on the border of Canada.
Yeah, I know. I went the other way on the New York thing. I'm sorry. It'd be more exciting if I was right next to Manhattan. But
well,
I've been there.
So have I, a number of times. In fact, I've played at Asbury Park.
Oh wow, that's great.
And I went to catch a few wrestling shows at the Garden.
Yeah.
Yeah, so believe me, I've been there. I really have. I toured with a huge Australian band.
Nice.
Had 4 letters to its name. You might be able to figure it out. It started with an I.
Really?
Had an X at the end of it, believe me. And there's a huge story there. Believe me, I spent 36 months with that band. And
no kidding, Grant. Wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Came to a sudden stop, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's so sad to hear about his passing.
Yes. Believe me, I was one of the leading engineers for that particular tour. But,
Right.
we move on. And believe me, Mike, I will let you know that I have worked with some of the biggest bands, the biggest names around the world. And here in New Zealand, believe me, I could put a resume together that would absolutely impress you. It really would. But I'm not about name dropping. I'm really not. I'm about the artist today. And today's music played tomorrow. Believe me, we take pleasure in saying that we play tomorrow's music today because you're yesterday, aren't you?
Yeah, I am actually behind the international date line. So right now it's April 4th, 8:05 p.m. for me. And it's presumably, let's see, April 5th for you, somewhere in the neighborhood of just afternoon.
Yes, in fact, it's 6 minutes after lunchtime, April 5. Yeah, believe me. Did you have fun on April the 1st?
What's that now?
Did you have fun on April the 1st? Do you do that kind of deal?
I did. I freaked people out because they thought that when I went and got this in Nashville, if you can see that.
Yep, got that.
They thought it was fake. So I did the reverse psychology thing. They thought it was an April Fool's joke. Joke's on them, it's real.
Very cool, very cool. As you know, I told you that I'd rung up the New Zealand Navy and asked them to move back Tasmania.
Move back Tasmania, yeah.
But at the at the same time through the breakfast show, I got to be honest with you. I did let it slip a couple of times that the local council here was moving and was requesting volunteers to give them a hand. Could they please call the number? Believe me, the mayor was...
Grant, you're too much, Grant. You're too much, man.
The mayor was not happy with me. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, right?
I got called into the office. What are you doing? Literally, but it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Now, Mike, and believe me, it is an absolute pleasure to say this because 3,316 requests so far. Tell me about 200 days with no sand.
Wow, that's huge. That's my latest single. And the song was written simply because of a band rehearsal. My bass player had a new garage built, and on the plywood that was built with, it was stamped 200-day no sand guarantee. And I'm like, what does that mean? What? I've never seen this before. So, and I started thinking, oh my God, that's a song. 200 days, no sand. I'm like, that's the pandemic written all over it. Like, we couldn't get to the beach. We couldn't go on vacation. We couldn't get to where we wanted to go. 200 days with no sand, that's a song. That was in October of the year before last, during the pandemic. It took 6 months for the lyrics to come to me, and they all came to me one night. It was almost a year ago to date. The lyrics came to me all in one night. In fact, you know, as a creative person, sometimes the creativity is on 10, sometimes it's on 2. Well, that night I ended up writing 2 songs. So this was the first one that I wrote that night. I said, oh my God, I got all the lyrics to this song. And literally, no lie, all the lyrics came out of the song. And it's based on the pandemic and not being able to go anywhere. And I know that some of the lyrics are cliche, but they're intended to be that way. Kind of going right along with Margaritaville. I mean, the whole thing where he cuts his hand is akin to stepping on the pop top in Margaritaville. I mean, you can see all the parallels through the whole song, and it wouldn't be a Jimmy Buffett song if I didn't cuss in there. So I don't know what the rules are if you have to beep it out, but it really was a fun song to write. And the person I had play the marimba on that song and the keys, I've never paid a musician more. He worked at it for 4 hours to get the track just right. Just to add the marimba, the keys, and the organ, and the Hammond organ and the B3. But it's just a fun song. It's kind of a lamenting over the pandemic, and I hope that it makes people smile a little bit, maybe be happy that we can kind of start getting back to the beach. But that's the story behind the song. It came from just a stamped thing on a piece of plywood that said 200-day no sand guarantee, and apparently it means that the plywood's not going to come apart for 200 days and you won't have to sand it. I don't know. It gave me a song.
Who knew? Who knew? You see, and let me tell you, I'm a water baby. I was brought up on the west coast of the South Island on a surfboard. I'm thinking, sand, surf, this is some sort of... you know what? It's my favourite Michael Roberts track. Check this out.
Oh, thanks so much, bud.
200 days, no sand. That's true. Honestly, I associated it with being a surfie. And I really thought, you've had a fast life, with a bit of sex wax or something going on.
Right. Oh, man.
And that's not being rude, folks. Sex wax is actually what you put on your surfboard, okay?
Yeah.
I had somebody argue the point with me on that one day.
Right.
And I'm like, no. I've got a jar of it. Well, actually, a container of it.
Yeah.
Where's your surfboard?
Where's my what?
Surfboard.
Where's my surfboard? It's still down the west coast of the South Island.
Yeah, no.
It is. Seriously. I don't actually think I could float a surfboard anymore.
No.
It's been
Do
too many years.
you get sharks on your shores quite often, or is it safe to surf there?
Yeah, but believe me, we get the occasional mako shark. We're not Australia, bro.
No, I got you.
We do get the
It
occasional
just scared the
mako.
hell out of me to be out there and then see the fin,
Well, I tell you what, do you enjoy fishing?
Fishing short.
Yeah. Do you enjoy sport fishing?
I've never fished big game fish. No,
Okay.
never
Well,
have.
I'll tell you what. If and when we can get you here in this country in front of New Zealand audiences, we
Yeah.
plan on taking you out, do a bit of sport fishing.
My God, I'd love to.
Better yet, our Prime Minister, would you believe, is a gorgeous female, right?
Really?
She really is.
Wow.
Her name is Jacinda. Her husband, Gayford, is a sports fisherman charter boat man.
Oh my Lord!
Let's
No
do that
kidding.
one.
I'm down for that, 100%.
We'll go and either get ourselves a huge big shark or maybe a swordfish or something. you know.
Marlin.
A marlin,
goldfish.
sailfish. You know, believe me,
Fish.
all about having a bit of fun, bro. And that's what New Zealand is about, is having some fun. We want to educate you. We want to have a bit of fun,
not going
give you a bit of
home
culture,
seasick.
and at the same time, enjoy some damn good music. What do you reckon?
Yep, 100%.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Nice. Now, Mike, we're going to wrap it up after this.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
go anywhere just yet. As I said, we'll do some
Okay.
crazy photos and stuff. I
Okay.
have a couple of other questions I want to ask you off air,
Sure. Yeah.
because I would like to be able to introduce you to a couple of friends of ours, if that's okay.
Sure.
Very cool. And believe me, Jay, anyway, hang in there, my friend. We've got about a minute and 40 to go. And I really got to say to you, Mike, thanks for joining us here in New Zealand. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me, Grant. I really appreciate it.
Tell you what, my friend, I will let you know how many were online after we do this as well.
Good.
Yeah. I was just reminded that I've actually got another meeting after this very, very shortly that I'm going to be late for, so I'm all good about that. Who's the box from?
Milton Blake.
Really?
Yes, he's been
Very
asking
cool.
me about it. It's
Very
arrived.
cool.
We can do that.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 15 after lunchtime noon here in New Zealand, 23.4 degrees. It's warm, it really is. In fact, I did say 24 degrees, the weatherman said 22 degrees, so, but it's been higher than that, so it even blew us out of the park today. It has been an absolute pleasure to catch up with our new good friend of Galaxy. Got to welcome him to the Galaxy family is Michael Robert. Mike, with this pandemic going on at the moment, are you writing more, are you recording more? Are you looking at releasing new music soon?
I am very much so. I've got about four new songs ready to be recorded, and I have my recording engineer chomping at the bit to get moving. But coming back from Nashville, as I was speaking, I want to do a little bit of lyric rewriting now that I've learned from the pros some tips. So I'll probably get back in the studio within a month, and we should have, obviously with the pandemic not holding us back, I should be able to get those songs released. I'm going to say I really want to push it for summer, so I'm going to say probably in a couple months you'll see another release from me.
Okay, now
Yep.
just one major question then.
Yeah.
Will you release new music with us? Will you come back again?
Oh, 100%. I can't thank you guys enough. Really appreciate it.
We'd
Thanks.
absolutely love to continue this relationship on, follow you through your career, and show you a few ways of being able to promote things, vicariously, if you know what I mean. So believe me,
Sure.
and believe me, it's very, very worthwhile. It really is. So having said that, we here at Galaxy are very, very happy to be in association with Rise Up TV, Big Record, and Sony Music, The Orchard, right here at Galaxy. Got to thank them. Michael, don't go anywhere just yet, but thank you for joining us here at
Thanks
Galaxy.
for having me, Grant.
Another indie artist interview brought to you by Galaxy 107 FM in association